Thanks for checking out this video. So let's go ahead and get into it. What is coming to Shudder for December? And there are some things to definitely be excited about. So some gifts during the holiday season, if you will, from Shudder. The first thing I want to throw out there is I have not started the Boulet Brothers Dracula Titans yet. I'm sad I haven't done it, but I watch shows with my wife and we needed to get caught up on some shows before we can move to a fresh one. And Dragula's our next one because I do watch this show with my wife because she's also a big fan of it. So excited to get into it. It's going to be continuing in December, and I believe it ends at some point in December. So that's going on. Then the big thing that people are very excited about is the announcement of another Last Drive-In Christmas special, or holiday special, I think they're calling it. They're calling it the Ghoulish Get Together, Joe Bob's Ghoulish Get Together. It's going to be Friday, December 16th at 9 p.m. as usual, Eastern Standard Time, that is. And they will be doing their charity auction again. So I know they've done it. This will be the third year they've done that. So people can purchase or try to purchase. You can bid on some really cool items that they throw on there for charity. And it's super cool. And I'm sure the movies will be fun. Double feature. Let's do it. All right, next section is the Shudder Original and Exclusive films. Now, just so people know, I do no spoiler reviews for these before they come out. So it's usually, if they're coming out on like a Thursday or Friday, I'll be putting out a review that Monday. If they're coming out like a Tuesday, it'll be like the Friday prior. So be on the lookout for these reviews because I always have the no spoiler reviews for the Shudder Exclusive and Originals. So what are those films coming to Shudder in December? Coming December 1st, which is a Thursday, A Wounded Fawn. Inspired by surrealist art and Greek mythology, A Wounded Fawn follows the story of Meredith Tanning, a local museum curator who is dipping her toe back into the dating pool only to be targeted by a charming serial killer, played by Josh Rubin. When a fateful romantic getaway between the two becomes a tense game of cat and mouse, both must confront the madness within him. What? Both must confront the madness within him. Okay, I guess it kind of makes sense, but okay, it's a Shudder original. Next one, I'm excited for this one. Premieres Friday, December 9th. It is Christmas Bloody Christmas. I love horror-themed Christmas films. Love it. It's Christmas Eve, and fiery record store owner Tori Toombs just wants to get drunk and party until the robotic Santa Claus at a nearby toy store goes haywire and makes her night more than a little complicated. Santa Claus begins a rampant killing spree through the neon-drenched snowscape against a backdrop of drugged sex, metal, and violence, ultimately forcing Tori into a blood-spattered battle with survival against the ruthless heavy metal Saint Nick himself. That description, I was excited about it before when I saw the poster art. Now that description takes my excitement way higher. Very excited for that one. The next one is, forgot to silence my phone. Next one is The Apology, coming Friday, December 16th. 20 years after the disappearance of her daughter, recovering alcoholic Darlene Hagen is preparing to host her family's Christmas celebration again with the help of her friend and neighbor Gretchen. Late Christmas Eve, Darlene's estranged ex-brother-in-law Jack arrives unannounced, bearing nostalgic gifts and a heavy secret. Soon, Darlene finds herself caught between reason and ruthless instinct. Trapped together by a dangerous storm, a battle of wits escalates to a violent game of revenge. Interesting. Sounds good enough. Another one I'm very excited about. Coming December 22nd, which is a Thursday, Scare Package 2. Rad Chad's Revenge. I was a fan of the first one. Like this. I know I'm going to like this one, most likely. When horror guru Rad Chad Buckley's funeral turns into an elaborate series of death traps centered around Chad's favorite films, the guests must band together and use the rules of horror to survive the bloody game. Core story is Rad Chad's Revenge, directed by Aaron B. Kuntz. The segments are done by Alexandra Barreto, who did Welcome to the 90s is her segment. The segment The Night He Came Back Again, Part 6, The Night She Came Back, that's a long title, is directed by Anthony Cousins. Special Edition is directed by Jed Shepard, and We're So Dead is directed by Rachel Wiggins. Big fan of hers. She does great stuff. Also, I want to throw out there, I won a contest for this, like an online contest, and my Twitter handle, which may not even be relevant at this point, is going to be in the movie. So if you see it in there, it's at Brutal Battle. So if you want to follow me, you can. If Twitter even still exists at that point. It may very well not, because it's not looking great. Okay, so very excited for Scare Package 2. The last one of the Shudder exclusive and originals is called Burial, and it's coming Thursday, December 29th. In the last days of World War II, a band of Allied soldiers trafficking Hitler's remains out of Germany are ambushed by Nazi werewolf fighters. Sounds great. That's it. Sounds simple, sounds fun. I'm in. Alright, then coming to Shudder, they're going to be adding the first 7 Nightmare on Elm Street films. I'm not going to give the synopses of all of these because the Nightmare on Elm Street films are very, very well known. So they will be adding A Nightmare on Elm Street, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So if you've been looking for this franchise to be streaming somewhere, it'll be on Shudder in December. Although I think it's been kind of like making the rounds from month to month of streaming services. They will be creating an Unhappy Holidays collection, so taking all the new holiday-themed films as in addition to all the ones that have already been on the streaming service, throw them all into one kind of like list so you can get them all there. The only film being dropped on December 1st, other than A Wounded Fawn, Night of the Comet. A huge comet passes near the Earth, vaporizing nearly the whole planet. Only a few teenagers survive. All those outside were turned to dust. But a few partially exposed people are now hideous, bloodthirsty zombies, and they begin a deadly hunt for the last remaining humans. Yup. Then, coming December 12th, the next lot of films. And actually, this is great because I was planning on reviewing some Giallo films in December, and they're dropping Giallo films onto Shudder. What a coincidence. I didn't know that was going to happen. So the first one's one I've actually already reviewed. The Police Are Blundering in the Dark. During an outbreak of violent murders in the area targeting young women, a journalist searching for a female friend gone missing ends up in a villa owned by an eccentric photographer. That one's, it's out there, but worth watching for sure. The next one is also one that I've reviewed. The Killer is one of 13. A widow invites 13 guests to stay at her rural mansion. She reveals to them that she suspects whoever killed her husband must be one of them. Soon they too are being murdered one by one. That one's fun. Watch it as well. The next one, also one I reviewed. Girl in Room 2A. A sadistic killer cult kidnaps and sacrifices beautiful women. A young girl just paroled from prison moves into a strange house and appears to be the cult's next victim. That one's kind of crazy. Not great, but kind of crazy. Then the next one. Also have reviewed this one. The French Sex Murders. A man is accused of killing his favorite prostitute in a French brothel. He's tried and sentenced to death. He tries to escape, but dies during pursuit. Soon, people connected to the case are killed one by one. That one's pretty fun. Then the next one I have also reviewed. My Dear Killer. A mysterious decapitation leads Inspector Peretti into a case of blackmail, deceit, and the unsolved kidnapping of a young girl. That one is an underrated Giallo in my opinion. The next one I have not seen, but want to, so I will be probably watching and reviewing this one. Autopsy. Heard good things. This lurid Giallo stars Mimsy Farmer as a morgue worker who begins investigating a series of suicides that she comes to suspect may actually be murders. Helping her with the case is a priest who's prone to violent outbursts. Could his short fuse be because his sister was a recent victim, or is he the man behind the crimes? The only thing certain in this fast-paced fright film is that nothing is certain. So I'm pretty sure I'll be reviewing that one. Murder Mansion. Have not seen. A couple lost in thick fog take refuge in an old mansion next to a cemetery. Strange things start to happen. That's literally it. Sounds interesting. Crazy Desires of a Murderer. A rich girl invites a few of her friends, including one she befriended during a recent trip to Asia, to her family manor to spend the weekend. Soon, someone gets horribly killed, and secrets and dark desires begin to unravel. That sounds fun. Arabella Black Angel. Arabella is a nymphomaniac who has sex with any man. One day, her husband, a writer, meets her and another man. She has a strange reaction, kills the lover. Her husband hides the corpse. From that moment on, he encourages her meetings with other men and writes down the experiences in his new book. That sounds really interesting. I'm into that one. The killer is still among us. During a spree of violent killings, a young woman writing a thesis in criminology begins to suspect that her new boyfriend, who is a forensic pathologist, might be a serial killer. Also sounds fun. And the last film, literally the last film coming for December, The Sister of Ursula. While searching for their estranged mother, two beautiful sisters, Dagmar and Ursula, arrive at a luxurious seaside hotel. At the same time, a mysterious killer starts murdering promiscuous women in the area. Also sounds interesting. So that's it. So the last batch of films, there's literally one film being dropped on the 1st, and then everything else on December 12th, and that's it for the month, other than the other special stuff that I already threw out there. So let me know your thoughts. What are you very interested in? What do you definitely want to check out? What would you recommend I end up checking out and reviewing if I can get to that at some point? Put it in the comments, or just, talk about horror stuff in general. That's cool. I'm down with it. Do me a quick favor, hit subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also hit the notification bell button. I do appreciate those types of things because I'm, doing this stuff to build a nerdy horror community, and I know some of you have joined up and are having a good time, and that's awesome. I love it. So comments, please. Subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. Thanks for checking this out, though, and until next time, keep it brutal.